what, I need to go to Summit and I need to figure out how to get there. And I did all this crazy stuff that I wouldn't recommend in order to get there. But I got there and I roomed with 4 people that I never met before. I literally posted in Katie's Summit group. I was like, I'm going to Summit, I need a room. And a random person messaged me and they were like, okay, you can room with us. I was like, cool. And I had a plane ticket, flew all by myself, figured out how to get to the hotel by myself, showed up there and Facebook messaged these girls, met them, and that's who I was rooming with. And they ended up being, now they're like some of my best friends ever. I love them. And we had so much fun. And we had like the nicest room too. I was like, oh my God, I really lucked out. I had this huge king size bed all to myself. But Summit was awesome. And if I could recommend anything as like a first timer, I literally did everything. If it was on the schedule, I did it. And I didn't care how long I had to wait in a line to do it. I would have waited 3 hours to do something. I did it. I waited in a line for 2 hours to meet Tony Horton. I waited in a line for an hour and a half to be able to go to the store to buy all of that merchandise. And I do have to say, take a ton of money for that because I spent $200 on clothes. I was so excited. And get ready for it to be like Black Friday. Like people will crawl on top of you to get stuff. Like this sweatshirt that I have on, this 21 Day Fix one, I had to like climb on top of a girl in order to get it. But I went to the Shine event, the very first one. Melanie Mitro was doing the event this year. It was Lindsay Matway's event last year. And I just remember sitting there and that was like that moment that it hit me that I was like, oh my God, this is what coaching is all about. I finally saw people for the first time in real life, and they had Carl Deichler come in and do a talk, and Autumn came and did a talk. And I was basically crying the entire time because I was like, it just finally hit me that this is what I was supposed to be doing. And it was amazing. And I just have to recommend, literally do everything. Stand in every line. It's going to be busy. It's going to be crazy. Just do everything, no matter what it takes. If you have to wait in a line for 3 hours, do it. The workouts are so worth it. Go to every single one. You're only going to get 4 hours of sleep every single night. That's fine. Get up and do your 6 a.m. workout with Shaun T. But get your butt to everything. Take notes. I learned so much at these trainings that it's stuff that I still teach and think about, and I still have that Summit notebook, and all that stuff I learned is the stuff that I implement in my business now. I went to Summit with one coach under me, and by the second week of August, so that would have been like a month and a half, by the second week of August, I hit diamond. So that's how much like your mindset can completely change, like just by going and absorbing all of the information. It's awesome. Just go and have so much fun because there's no experience like it.
Yeah, the energy is crazy. It's just like for the Kaylin and Julie who are in Cancun, it's like 10 times the amount of excitement and energy. So I'm excited for those of you who are going. If you aren't going or you just signed up, there is a Super Saturday. And if you've never been to a Super Saturday, there are coaches on this team that I basically have harassed to go to Super Saturday. I'm like, get your butt there. They finally go and they're like, oh, I see what you're talking about, like why you bug me so much. So Super Saturday is basically just, they're held all across the country, hosted by coaches. It's, something hopefully that's local to you or, not that far away. And you'll hear a video presentation from Carl and the corporate team, all the new announcements. Sometimes they do some training. And I think the biggest thing is you just get to network with other local coaches, and coaching becomes real. So I was talking to, do you guys know Catherine Wayne? She's now Catherine Cushion, just got married. I was talking to her and she said, oh, I can't wait to meet you at Summit. And I had this moment where I'm like, we haven't met yet because I see you guys on Zoom calls and I feel like I know you. But when you meet in person and you spend time together, it's so much fun.
If you treat it like numbers like that,
Is that
that
me?
will go up in your behavior and in your intent.
Well, I'm glad you're listening to the calls. That's awesome. Okay, so tonight we had a little bit of, I don't want to say an agenda. Really, like the point of us doing these Tuesday night calls is to connect with each other, to problem solve, to brainstorm, things like that. So I saw a couple questions that you guys posted of things that you wanted to go over. So I'm just going to, share a couple things and then we'll open it up and, we can talk about your businesses individually or individual issues or obstacles that you're facing. So I wanted to start by saying, I have this quote. This is from Marie Forleo. Now at my computer desk, and I look at it every single day, and it really helps me get into the right mindset. I have quotes everywhere. If you guys can't tell, like my affirmations back here, I've got my goals. I've got like post-its of important dates that I want to achieve things by. So I am all about, visualizing, and I hope that those diamond pictures got you guys excited and really thinking about what it's going to feel like when you reach that next milestone in your business and how you're going to behave at that next milestone, whether it's, an emerald coach or a diamond coach or an elite coach, getting in the mindset of acting as if you're already there. That is the mindset that's going to help you achieve it. So back to the quote, how would you behave if you were the top coach? So what would your action plan look like if you were the absolute best at coaching? What are the things that you would be doing to support your team? What are the things that you would be doing to support your customers? What would your conversations look like? You would come probably from a place of greater confidence when you're inviting. You would come from a place of more excitement because you believe in what you're doing. So, whether you started this business in 2012 or 2015, I want you guys to come from a place of, feeling good about what we're doing and acting as if you've already reached that next level in your business. So I like to keep that on a little pretty card that I have at my desk and look at it every single day. Now, diving into how to work the business while you are a full-time coach, or maybe you have other obligations, or you have children running around your house, or maybe you have a full-time job and kids and a spouse and, all these things that you're trying to juggle. I kind of want to dive into that. And while I don't have kids, I can tell you Winston and Baby Bear are a huge pain in the butt on some days, like need to go out every single 30 minutes. And I'm like, I'm going to rip my hair out. So that's why they're going to puppy camp this week, so I can focus and get stuff done. But I wanted to share how I built my business. I actually started as a full-time retail manager. And for those of you, like Erica has worked retail, I started as a coach in October, which is the beginning of the holiday season. So it was a lot of long shifts, working 12 hours, 14 hours, and somehow still putting in an hour-long P90X workout and trying to build my business. And I was by no means perfect. It was just, you figure things out as you go. So from that, just to kind of give you some background, so you kind of have an idea, my goal was to be able to quit that job and get a lesser paying job that wasn't as stressful and wasn't as, time consuming for me. So I transitioned, I set a goal. My first goal as a Beachbody coach was to get my Shakeology paid for. So that was 3 HD orders a month. And I took that goal very seriously. I was like, who are my 3 people going to be every day in my binder? I wrote 1, 2, and 3 and, try to think about who those people in my life were that I wanted to help get started. And some of them were family members. Some of them were people I went to high school with. Some of them were coworkers, things like that. So once I hit that goal, then my next goal was to start earning $100 a month, so just like bumping it up in small increments. And then in order to quit that retail job, it was $100 a week. So once I achieved that, then I transitioned. It's kind of funny. I got a job at a porta potty company, working at the desk and it's so weird. I never knew this, but schools get seasonal porta potties for like their baseball field. So I did that, and working a full-time job that was 40 hours a week, that was just 40 hours, it enabled me to change my schedule. So I completely understand if you work shift work and if you work at a desk. I've had both those experiences trying to build my business. So I hopefully can give you guys some tips and help you. So the first thing that I think is important to like make a note of is, I guess, just to get clear about your expectation for what you want out of this business. If you want to work it like a hobby, you know, the Beachbody coach police aren't going to come knock on your door and say, why aren't you building a 6-figure income with this? You know, it's okay if you want to do it as a hobby. It's okay if you want accountability. It's okay if you want $100 a week. It's okay if you want to be a millionaire with this. It's just really getting clear about what it is you want to get out of the experience, and then making sure that your actions align with that goal. So just know that it is a choice. You are an adult. You know, you have the right to make that decision. I'll probably always be so passionate about it that I'm going to nudge you toward more, you know, doing more and like, you know, taking it to the next level. But, you know, just know that if you want to treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay like a hobby. If you want to treat it like a business, then it will pay like a business, but it's going to take you some time to build the momentum. So a few key things that I did. The first thing is getting comfortable with sacrifice. This one, you know, you might give me a little bit of pushback, but for me, working that retail job, I hated it so much, you guys. I hated just thinking every day, oh my gosh, am I going to have to do this for the next 30 years? Because I don't know how I'm going to do it. So that was enough of a push for me to cancel cable. I didn't watch any TV. I cut back on social events. You know, date nights would be us watching a movie, but me blogging on my computer. And it's important to talk to your spouse or your partner about that and say, you know, for the next 6 months or the next however long, I really want, it's my goal, it's my passion to get this business started. So there are going to be some, you know, give and take that I need to discuss with you. So maybe on the weekend you're discussing, I need 3 hours to set aside while you watch the kids so I can work on my business. Or I need an hour after work so I can work on my business. You know, just having the open line of communication, because I'll tell you from experience, if you just start doing something and you don't communicate with your spouse, then they're sitting there like, why is her face is always in her phone every single day, or she's always in the computer, and they have no idea what you're doing. So open the lines of communication and make sure that you tell them that. And then, I lost out on sleep. That was the other sacrifice. So I would maybe get, when I first started, I mean, I was like obsessed with the business. So to be fair, if you're obsessed, you can expect this, but I would get maybe like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And the rest of the time, what I would be doing to build my business was listening. I literally listened to every team or every national wake up call they had up until that point. So I would just pick one and listen to it on the computer when I was doing laundry or doing dishes, or I was getting ready to do, you know, something when I was putting on my makeup. So I would do that. I would focus on invites. My workout was my number one priority. And we were just talking about this the other day, like my workout, I visualized if I didn't do it, that like those little bags of money with wings, like I just visualized them flying out the window. And for some reason, for me, that was the motivator to get my butt to, you know, have my date night with Tony Horton. So that kind of goes back to the why, your motivation for wanting to build the business. It was so important for me to get out of that job that I was willing to do the entire 90 days of P90X, which I think says a lot about how much I hated it. So when I worked in retail, it was kind of fitting the business in between the cracks. And the biggest thing I can say for you guys is not to shy away from the business activity tracker or some type of tracker, whether you use the ones we've created, like the Reach for the Stars, or the ones that are in the Coach Online office, because that's what's going to keep you on point. It's going to keep you focused on the business building activities. So you guys may have discovered this. It's really easy to get sucked into the Facebook newsfeed. It's really easy to get sucked into your inbox. It's really easy to, you know, do activities that aren't creating results. So if you want to focus on income producing results, in my opinion, some type of tracker is an absolute non-negotiable. And if you think about like Michael Phelps, for example, he wouldn't get in the pool without a clock. So the business activity tracker is your way to gauge progress. It's your way to gauge activity. It's your way to kind of keep yourself on point instead of going off on these tangents. The other things that I would do, I constantly, at the time we didn't have, I really wish that we would have had the Facebook voice messaging. So that was one thing I wanted to bring up to you guys. If I'm driving or if I'm on my way to and from. The way that I like to support my challengers or my coaches is to leave them the Facebook voice memo. That way you don't have to spend your time typing everything out, but you can still shoot them a quick message. It's a lot quicker than a phone call because, you're not having a back and forth conversation. So those are great. Or even voice memos to record ideas, voice memos to remind yourself of things that you need to do for your business. I took notes so I would stay on track because I get really distracted. So yeah, basically my point is don't resist the business activity tracker because you're going to have demands in your life. There's going to be, life gets in the way, things come up, but at least if you can have a snapshot. One thing that is always kind of, sad to hear is when coaches say, oh, I'm trying so hard, but I'm not getting any results or no one's joining my challenge group. If you don't have a business activity tracker to share with me, then I can't really see where the missing link is. I can't really see where I need to guide you. So if you're doing a lot of inviting and nobody is joining, then, that's where I can say, let's take a look at your conversations or your Facebook post. If you're thinking that you're doing a lot of inviting, but maybe you only invited 5 people, then that's where I can encourage you, to beef up the invites and think of, people that you can add to your contact list. So those are really important if you want to get the most effective advice from your upline, me. So, and the last thing I wanted to bring up, which I kind of touched on in the beginning, is to set an income goal to work toward and then go all in for that goal. So it has to be something that you're really connected with emotionally. Otherwise, you're just going to say, oh, I'm tired today, or I don't feel like working my business, or scandal's on, so I'm going to do that. So it has to be something that you're really seriously connected with emotionally, that you're not going to give up. So a couple other things that I did when I worked full time, I would fit in GSRs on my lunch break. The cool thing about doing it that way is, yeah, you might be eating in between doing someone's GSR, but it keeps you on point for the conversation. You have a set amount of time that you can talk with them. So it makes, you make sure that you stay on task. And then making sure that I made time. I did not miss a single Bombshell Dynasty team call. I just made sure in my schedule that Monday night, everyone knew that I needed that time. And what's so funny about it is Lindsay, we did Talk Shoe, which was this really crappy, we had to call in, but she would look and call out everyone's name who got on. And for some reason, for me, it was just important that she saw I was committed. So whatever that looks like for you, however you can show up in your business, show up in building your empire, and showing your challengers and your customers that you really are making an effort to, be the best for them. That goes a long way. It builds trust, it builds credibility. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was it took me about 6 to 8 months, to be fair, probably closer to a year, to build my blog. But for those of you who don't have any resource outside of Facebook, anything that's Googleable for people to find you, I recommend that you add that into your schedule. It could be YouTube. It could be a blog. Those are, in my opinion, the 2 best ones to make as a resource. And it's not you're just blogging just for the heck of it. It's you're marketing yourself. People are finding you. They're getting to know you. You're sharing your voice. You're sharing your knowledge, your experience, your expertise. And here's the thing, guys, especially on Facebook, you'll see this. And I was just talking to Julie about this today. People are following your story. They might not comment, they might not say anything, but they're reading, and then, you'll see them in person and they ask you all these questions and bring up all the stuff that you posted about. And you're like, well, why the heck didn't you comment? Or why the heck didn't you support me on that post? With the blog, basically the way that I think of it is maybe someone doesn't have $180 to spend, but you're still offering free value. You're still offering information. You're offering content. So when they are ready, when they have saved up that money, you're the go-to person. You're the resource. So you're building that bridge with those customers that you might not even know are out there watching you. And then when they are ready, it's really, really simple for them to find the information, to figure out where, to click on your link. If you're only building through social media, then they have to specifically message you. And I feel like 90% of the time when someone buys a workout, it's random. It's like 3:00 in the morning, or they just got done, at a shift from work and I'm not available to answer them back right away. So if you have something like a blog where they can go to and they know where to find it, it's just been really helpful for me. So I wanted to pass that along. But now we can open it up for questions. I hope I'm not boring you guys. I'm just trying to share as much helpful stuff as I can.
Katie, I have a question.
Yes.
When you were building your blog, I have one, and I want to work on obviously getting more followers and stuff. How did you have like a certain number of days a week you were making sure to post on your blog, or?
So I'm probably the extreme example. I posted Monday through Friday, and it wasn't, quality is very important, but it wasn't like every blog post was this 20-page, amazing thing. Sometimes it was just a recipe. Sometimes it was just me, like a post-workout picture, and me just sharing a little bit about my life. So maybe it would take me 5 minutes. Sometimes it would take me an hour to make them, but I tried to vary it, if that makes sense. But I did 5 days a week. The important thing, I'm glad you brought that up, is whatever you choose, you have to stick with. So if it's once a month, stick with once a month. If it's once a week, stick with once a week, because your following will get used to it. And I tell this story every time I talk about it, but you guys know that blog, Style Me Pretty? It's a wedding blog. They would update their blog every single day. And when I would go to work, it was just something I got in the habit of checking because I love looking at wedding stuff because it's pretty. So for whatever reason, I don't know what was going on with them, but they stopped updating it every day, and it was like random. So when I would go check it, it wouldn't be updated, and I would go check it again, it wouldn't be updated. So then I just stopped checking it, and I just fell out of the habit, and now I don't even check it at all. But when they were going on a schedule, even if it was every Sunday, I would know to check it every Sunday. And I've read this on multiple blogs as advice. So it just, it's consistency is important.
Thank you.
What else do you guys have going on in your business? Like, what are some obstacles that you're facing, your frustrations?
Well, I have a question. I have a clean eating group going on right now because I'm just trying to get people, for my cold market now. So I did an ad on my page, and I got 20 people that kind of had some kind of interaction, whether they commented that they wanted to do it or whether they liked it, and then I, connected with them. So I got 15 people out into the group that I didn't know. But my question is, do you guys normally, if you have a free clean eating group, do you have them join as a free customer to be in the group, or do you do that at the end? Or because I asked people to do it, but after I already added them, which was probably stupid if you put them in there.
I don't want to say stupid, but definitely people, just human nature, don't do something unless you kind of, I don't want to say force them, but unless you put an incentive. So anytime I do a free group, I say, oh, do me a quick favor, go to this link, sign up for the free membership. I'm going to show you some of the free tools on the website that I absolutely love. All this does is ensures that you're on my team. So down the road, if, you did want to purchase something that I love, then, just make sure that you're on my team. Once you do that, then I'll add you to the group. And I have, there's always a couple scragglers, and then I'll just message them back and say, hey, I know that you really wanted to do this. I just wanted to make sure the link was working for you, or something
Yeah.
like that.
That's what I thought. I was because I did it after, and I was oh, darn, I think I missed that one.
Learning lesson. I mean, you can still try, but it's harder unless you have some incentive,
Yeah. Maybe I'll make an incentive.
Or you could do a drawing for your customers.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Actually, what would be a really cool idea is use that Fixate cookbook when it comes out as a prize for a clean eating group.
Yeah, that would be a really cool idea.
I might do that. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, I like that. I can't wait till that comes out.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And I just love that it's going to have some paleo options for those of us who can't have gluten.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I know that there were some questions also about sneak peeks and coach inviting.
I wanted to comment on what you guys were talking about. I started it was end of last month and it just ended and it went really well. I did a free ab challenge. And so I had just the template that I pulled from Pinterest and that we were following, and it was all sorts of different ab exercises. But at the beginning, I was like, okay, for extra fun, extra credit, you guys can sign up for the free club membership, and we can do hip hop abs together. And so like every other day I would check in and I'd be like, okay, it's hip hop abs day, bonus workout. And we would all, post about how we did hip hop abs. And then it gets people kind of looking at the other programs and they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that all of P90X is on here. Oh my gosh, there's all this stuff. And I set reminders. I wrote down what day everybody signed up for it. So then I would know, all right, I'm going to message you before the 30 days is up so that they didn't think that I was scamming them. And I would just send them a little message. And I was like, hey, your 30 days is almost up. You can keep on it. How do you like it? Have you been using it? You can keep going with it, or you can, let's work together. We'll turn it off. Here's how you do it. Like, just call this number. It's really quick and easy. So that helped a lot too. And then I had all of these people who signed up for the free on-demand, and a lot of people were able to try the 21-day fix, and then it went on sale, and they then turned into 21-day fix customers. Or now I have the Shanti group going, and so they're like, okay, hip hop abs, previous size, T25 is on there, and Insanity's on there. There's more than enough that most of those people then transitioned into my Shanti group. And now we're like talking about Shakeology. So I feel like it let me add on a layer each time. So it started as just free, follow this template, to free, but here's some programs, to, okay, maybe only pay $40 every 3 months and just keep those. Or, you know what I mean? It just kept
I love that. Yeah. You're like at that. It's like adding like so much, like it's like you're giving more and more to them. It's what it seems like, you know what I mean? But yet they're giving to you too. So I like that. That's really awesome.
And I just made it very easy going. Like I wasn't like, sign up for this. I was just like, oh my God, you guys, I just went on demand, and I'm doing my Insanity completely from there because I gave away my program. So yay, it's on there. But I just made it fun. Like I was discovering this with them. And then a few people would start messaging, like commenting like, oh yeah, I did hip hop abs today. That was so much fun. And then we would do like Turbo Jam one day. We'd be like, okay, who wants to do Turbo Jam? Like I would make it like kind of spur of the moment. And then the more people who did it, they were like, they wanted to jump in too. It's like, I said this before, 2 weeks ago, the whole like fear of missing out. Like they were like, no, I want that free thing. And they jumped on too. So now I have like this whole other market that kind of opened up, but it was so easy to do because it was free. And then at the end, whenever I messaged them, I'm like, oh, it's going to end. They're like, wait, what's the price again? I'm like, oh, it's just $39 every 3 months. They're like, oh, okay, well, I'll keep it. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's
just
like
like
good
another
value.
I love that.
The other thing too that's kind of exciting is that summit, I'm sure we'll learn more, but just the performance line, we got to do like a trial. Jay took most of it. So I didn't really get to experience, as many days of the supplements, but that's going to be an exciting add-on because has anyone done P90X here? Okay. Do you remember how sore? I remember dropping things on the floor and just being like, well, that's where that goes now, because I could not move. And then I started, as a results and recovery formula, I started drinking that, and it just made such a difference for me. So, being able to add on supplements like the Hydrate, I forget what they're all called right now. There's like one, I think it's going to replace E&E, but that's exciting and something you can talk about in your challenge groups. it doesn't have to just be about Shakeology. I mean, there are people that are going to GNC purchasing these supplements anyway. So it makes sense to at least make sure they know it's available. So I'm excited, for that to come out. And just like you were saying, Erica, like sharing and adding on as you go and making it really, not a big deal, just sharing what you like and sharing what you're excited about. And the products that I'm excited about are the ones that I always sell. So like 21 Day Fix, I sell probably more Brazil butt lift copies than anybody in the company, I would venture to say. And Body Beast, I mean, the ones that I'm not excited about, like Hip Hop Abs, I don't think I've sold a single one. So whatever you're passionate about, make sure that you're sharing and talking about. Even the equipment, you know what I'm obsessed with? That I made a blog post about it. The workout gloves that Beachbody has, they're, I think, $15 with their discount. They're the most amazing if you guys lift. If you do Body Beast, the gloves, I cannot live without them. They protect your hands from calluses. All right, well, I want to make sure you guys get the most out of our time together. So is there anything that's on your mind? If not, I'm going to make us do like a little round table and talk about one thing that went awesome this week. So
I have a question. Me and Emily are like both have like kind of struggled with this with our free group. We're doing an on-demand free group and getting people to sign up for the account online, and even though it's for free. Like that's been kind of a struggle, and I'm not sure, like it's weird because I've done a free group before. I just haven't added the people to the group that have that haven't signed up for the free account. Like I always make people do a free account, but it just seemed like more of I had to push people a little bit more to do the on-demand free account. And I got a lot more excuses too. And they were like prospects that had been interested in the workouts in the past. And I was like, this is a great way to get them a free workout, and the people who had the price objections. But I'm kind of thinking they might not have really had a price objection. They just might not be ready.
Well, yeah, what were the objections?
Like I had one person tell me that they didn't have internet and they didn't realize that they had to sign up for a free account for on demand. And then one person.
How else would they access it?
I know. I had one person tell me because they broke up with their boyfriend, they couldn't do it. So I wasn't quite sure. I'm like, well, I don't want to try to overcome that. I feel like that might be pushing someone, but so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when I get objections, weird objections, I come from a place of like, I'm the most skeptical person ever because I have been burned before. So signing up and putting in my information, especially if you want to sign up for on demand and you have to, put in where you're going to eventually get charged. That stuff scares me because how many auto ships are out there that are like impossible to cancel? I'm actually really ticked off about the Honest Company because you can't cancel it online. So I'm like, so you want me to call in and waste my time? It's just irritating to me. So I guess I'm like really direct with that side of it. Like if someone gives me any objection, then I'll say, is it an issue like where you're nervous about the auto ship part of it? Are you nervous about, just putting in your information? Because I've been with Beachbody now for 5 years basically. And I will personally vouch that I will burn something down if they do not do right by you. Like I will make it right. So I think sometimes it's just like a fear. And I just am basically direct with them, but then the boyfriend excuse sounds like they weren't really serious about wanting to do it. But when you go through a breakup, who wants to work out,
I have maybe a suggestion, and I'm not an expert. I actually am running my free challenge right now. It's Beachbody on Demand. I invited like 500 people. I did one of the invite, to an event thing. So from that, I can't remember, like 12 people doing it and they signed up for it. So that's kind of nice. And I asked them like after they say, okay, I'm going because you can accept that event if you're not going or whatever. So I just messaged them, hey, I'm so excited you're doing this with me. gonna be so fun. And I tell them, like, I follow Erica's advice because she's doing the same thing. So I just tell them where to sign up, how they can do it. And whoever was interested and wanted to do it, they did it. I mean, some people like forgot to message me because I fell asleep or something, but they actually sign up. So that was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have a question, or I guess looking for suggestions for something. I want to switch my focus onto getting coaches because I really want to become a diamond coach. I know that coaches come from good challengers, and I have a lot of challengers. Something that I struggle with is a lot of my challengers are people in professional positions. Like, that's what they do for a career. This is just something that they do in their spare time, and they love it. But when I message them saying, thank you for being so encouraging in the group, I think that you would love, if you're going to continue on with this, I think you'd love doing at least like signing up as a coach for the discounts of it. And I also would be happy to like show you how to do this as a hobby if that's something you'd want to do, or even do it full time like me. But I don't feel like I'm getting any interest. And I think that it's because in their mind, they're like, I have a job. Like, I'm not interested in having your job at all, but I don't think that if I could find a way to share what this really is with them before they just switched me off right away, they would really love this. Like, I'm inviting them because I really think they would like it, but I feel like I get turned off before they can even fully understand what I'm inviting them to. So any suggestions on that would be awesome.
Angel, you love what you do, right? Oh, you're on mute. Hold on. Okay. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally in love with my career. And I almost feel like my story is a little bit different from a lot of the typical, I was in a job that I hated. I needed to get out of it. And that's why I chose Beachbody kind of thing. I actually chose it because I just thought it was kind of cool, What got me into it was honestly the community that was around it. And my original sponsor is actually no longer a coach, but while she was coaching, she was like so motivational and so supportive and so like into it, and it just kind of turned me on, and she kind of showed me the potential behind the business, and that's what got me into it. I kind of started just as a hobby coach here and there, but then whenever I got to know you, Katie, and see what where you could really take it, that's when I was like, oh, maybe I should take this a little bit more seriously. So that's actually my struggle right now. Is I just went back to work. It's my second week of work after maternity leave, and I am trying to figure out a balance between posting everything in the morning before I get to work, after our morning meeting, on my lunch, and after I leave work, and when I get home. That's when I try to post, all my stuff. And I get up every day at 5, do my workouts, get it in. It's rough, but but we're getting there.
I think, and we talked about this before, like everyone has a different motivation. So whether it's the accountability, or some people sign up for the community. Robin, you signed up just because you fell in love with it, because you guys like your work situation, right?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I signed up is because I just, saw the opportunity. I really loved the 21-day fix, and I thought, well, why not, and, I followed your blog like forever, and I loved it, honestly. So there, see, blog. But I mean, now that we like what we do, but it's very, it's not where I want to be. Like, I want to be home with my kids. Like, I want to be able to have like, I love seeing your posts, Erica, about like how far you've come and you get to be home with your girls and you're working in your backyard and your girls are playing. And like, that's what I want to do. So I make that my why and like my drive and my goal, yeah. But yeah, I already have a job. Yeah. I don't know.
Amanda, you're another one. Like, you had a pretty awesome job before, right? Like, marketing career. What made you switch to Beachbody?
Well, freedom, I think. I mean, my husband is an entrepreneur, and I don't know, I wanted the same type of freedom that he has, because I was working 12 hours a day. I mean, I was getting calls at 3 o'clock in the morning when things went wrong, and I just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and I remember Shay has a great video where she talks about being a pharmaceutical rep. She made 6 figures with that, but she called it corporate handcuffs. You know, there were so many things that she needed to dedicate her time to. So even though they had a great income, great medical benefits, it was like, at what cost? So, you know, I don't know if some of the people you're working with where they're motivated to get out of a situation like that, but I think it's cool that you're at least planting the seed and you're throwing it out there, you know, early on, and hopefully they continue to fall in love with it and continue to be in your challenge groups. I don't understand my like frugal brain. I'm like, why wouldn't you save at least $15 a month?
I know.
But yeah,
I think I want to put this out there too. I was just thinking that another reason why, and I try to even say the same thing to people when I'm trying to encourage them to sign up for the discount and for the coach. To me, it's just like a win-win situation. Even if you do have another job or you want this to be your job, you know, we all kind of started doing this because probably pretty much because you wanted to change your lifestyle, your body, because you wanted to get healthier. And so did everybody in your challenge group. So to me, by being a coach, it inspires me and motivates me and puts accountability on me to keep going with the lifestyle that I want to have as far as health and fitness goes. So I feel like that is, you know, always something you could, you know, say to people whenever you're trying to get them to interested in maybe in coaching, even just a little bit. You know, it's accountability for yourself to keep going and not stop, you know.
Good idea.
what do you think you would say to them in an ideal scenario that would get them to, I guess, take the leap?
What do I think? What would I say?
Kaylin.
Oh.
Well, like you said, I don't understand why someone wouldn't be interested in getting $15 off a month on their Shakeology. Like, I think that's awesome. So that's the main reason why I'm inviting some of these people that I know don't want to be a coach. So that, I guess I would just talk about like how easy it is to sign up. It's not something that you have to worry about. It's just kind of like how your Shakeology comes every month. Like, those fees take care of themselves too. I think that when they see that you pay your coaching fees and stuff, because I get them to the link. I get them interested enough to at least check it out. And then they don't follow through with it. And maybe I could talk to them more about how easy it is once they do it. It's not something you have to sit down and remember to write a check every month or something, you know, so maybe they're not quite aware of how it works. So that would be for a majority of the people I'm inviting. And then I guess it's like the rest of it's half and half. I have a lot of college students who are going to go on to be like a doctor, or they're going to be a computer engineer or whatever. And so when I'm like, hey, look at this job opportunity, you're just kind of like, don't need it type of thing. But if I was maybe better about sharing my own personal story, you know, I've shared it before, but they might not know it. I was going to be an eye doctor, and now I want this so much more. So it's not something to shy away from just because you have something else in mind. It could definitely be something to add on to that you love and may even replace plan A like it did for me.
And it's so funny you say that because, I mean, Anna is now a dentist and Liz Horn is a pharmacist, but their end goal is to be a Beachbody coach because they don't want to go to work. They want to have freedom and build their family. So, I think if I'm proud of being a college dropout, but I think if I would have invested, my mind would kind of be on that path that I set. So, opening the door at least to show them a different opportunity. Or Emily Myrick is another one. She signed up when she was in college, and basically instead of having to work a second job or, work a part-time job to supplement and pay for books, she did Beachbody, which was really awesome because instead of gaining the freshman 15, she was the one, getting fit and staying accountable, to her fitness goals. And then everybody else was off waitressing and she's on her computer on Facebook making money. So I also think, just to kind of piggyback on the initial direction you were going with finding coaches, what was helpful for me was to make a list of the people in my life that I admired and that I wanted to team up with in Beachbody. So whether or not they had actually done, a challenge group, which we didn't even have back then, but whether or not they had any experience with the products, actually reached out to those people. And, whether they had interest in fitness, obviously not all of them said yes. I would say 10% of them decided to join me. But, if it was someone that was organized or I really how infectious their personality was, those were the people that I reached out to and said, I'm really passionate about this. I'm doing this. I can kind of see where our interests and our passions align. And this, I'm thinking about who I want to build this with, who I want, to look back a year from now and say, holy moly, look how far we've come. And you are the first person that popped in my mind. Is this something you would, be interested in at least hearing me out on? And, obviously if it was my best friend, I was way more casual about it, and she's still not a coach, but it was good practice at least.
Okay. So if it was someone who I'd probably hadn't talked to in 2 years or so, you'd probably start by just forming a little bit, catching up a little.
And some of the people, so actually 2 of the people that initially were part of my, diamond build were people I went to high school with that I was actually, not that I was not friends with them, but I wasn't friends with them. We just knew of each other. For whatever reason, I saw a Facebook post that they made something about working out. And I was like, oh, have you ever heard of P90X? I'm doing it and it's hard as hell. And just, I don't know, just banter back and forth. And then I invited them to come work out with me, and that really developed a friendship. And then, just kind of sharing what I was doing. And it was just very natural to invite them. I didn't feel I was coercing them into something or talking them into something. I was just here's what I'm doing. I think it'd be fun if we did it together. We've already worked out a couple of times, so you kind of know the drill. And what's kind of funny is now neither of them are coaches, but they were so instrumental in the building of my business, as far as accountability. We did eat clean parties together. I did an entire series, entire rotation of P90X with my friend Erica. So maybe there are people that won't be in your business long term. And I've talked to Lindsay about this. I'm one of the only people from her first business center that was I wasn't an initial coach. I think I was her 16th coach or something like that. But all the other coaches have kind of, quit, or they just do it for the discount. So anyway, my point is, it might not be someone that you see, or they might not see themselves as doing it full time forever, but it might be someone. Erica and Kristen both got to Emerald and both helped me secure Diamond. So it's kind of funny to look back.
Okay.
I don't know. Does that help you at all?
Yeah, no, it definitely helps me because when you mentioned that it felt natural and you didn't feel like you were coercing them, that's what I need to get comfortable with, because I feel okay, my mindset is I need coaches, and so I'm setting out who do I want to invite, and then struggling to get from okay, I want to invite this person, how do I do it without it being hey, do you want to join my marketing scheme? You know, like you said, you invited them to work out. That's a good idea. I just feel like I need to warm up to them a little bit first, get them caught up on what I'm doing, that I love what I'm doing, that I'm helping a lot of people, and then probably invite them to do what I'm doing. I feel like I've
no interest.
Yeah, and I feel like I've made a lot of, like, I don't know, I've invited people that I probably wasn't ready to invite yet, and now it's kind of like, now what? Because they're just kind of like, oh, no thanks.
Well, here's the weird thing, though. I'm telling you, this is going to happen. This just happened to me like 3 days ago. Someone that I invited 2 years ago messaged me and was like, I'm ready to sign up. So even though you might have mucked it up or invited them before you're ready, you know, it might not be next week they sign up. It might be 2 years. You never know. So kudos for planting the seed at least and getting it out there.
Okay. But yeah, that's really helpful. I love all your ideas on that.
And like the other thing with asking, I'm listening to this audiobook. I think I'm going to listen to it like 5 or 6 times until it really sinks in, because we've talked about just being like naturally more shy. And if you have a lot of empathy, you're always worried about what the other person's going to think, and you don't want them to think you're using them or whatever. And you think of all these scenarios. But this audio, what is it called even? Aladdin's lamp or something like that. He talks about like, you know, coming from a place of confidence that you already have gotten what you've wanted. And I've noticed in myself, if I want to invite someone and I say, oh, hey, can I call you real quick? I'm about to run out, but I have like, 15 minutes to talk. And I just come from a very confident, excited place where, sometimes you might have to take some E&E before you get on the phone, just amp yourself up. But my success ratio is way higher than if I'm Facebook inviting them to be a coach, or, where I'm like nervous about it. So some of that's a practice, some of that's experience, but I think if you just have in your head, like they're giving you the answer that you want, you'll ask it in a way that encourages them to come to that same conclusion and be happy about it. And I think about this too all the time. In the beginning, I was so nervous to ask, but I was so happy to have joined. So there are people in your life right now that are waiting for you to ask, and they're waiting for something to come along and change the direction of their life. So I always think of it in terms of like, how grateful am I to have Beachbody? I'm like 1,000 million times grateful. So why would I hold back the opportunity from sharing it with somebody? It seems silly.
Yeah.
You'll get there. Diamond. I already made your picture, so now you gotta.
I loved it. I thought I looked good surrounded by diamonds.
You did. Did everyone like their picture? Amanda, I have to make you one. Seriously, guys, that took me like an hour because I had to like make the circle pictures, but it was worth it.
I love it.
All right. Well, anything else that is on your mind? Let's see. Alicia, you're the only one that hasn't talked, so you have to like at least give some kind of input or question or comment about something you've been up to.
I haven't really been up to a whole lot. I just had surgery a few weeks ago, and so I haven't really been up to a whole lot.
How was your surgery? Are you healing, recuperating?
Actually, I got infected. And I just went to the doctor yesterday to get an antibiotic.
Oh, poor thing.
So it's pushed things back a little for me. So.
Oh. We're here for you.
Thanks.
I just remembered Colleen said she's on the phone too. Colleen, are you still on the phone?
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
With regard to blog updates, you said be consistent, but like if you're just getting it started, should you spread out getting it started, or should you get some content on there?
So quality over quantity is the name of the game. So if you're just, posting just the post, you're not going to build a following, because it's like, I forget who was doing it. There was somebody that was like, I think it was back when the 21-day ultimate reset came out and people were making videos every single day. And Shalene made this video where she's like, if you don't have anything to say, don't make a video. You know, so if you're like, I'm going to blog every day, but then you get to that day and you don't have anything. So you're like, let me just put up some crap. Just don't put up anything. But with that being said, you know, it could be a shorter post. Like I was saying, like maybe posting a recipe or something like that. But one of my very first posts was a picture of what was in my refrigerator and breaking down what I eat. And that was so popular that even though I only had one post, I think I gained like 15 to 20 followers. And they said, there was a comment, I'll never forget it. They said, if you keep posting stuff like this, I'm going to follow you to like the ends of the world. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's really cool. So if you're just getting it started and you're nervous to commit to something, then I would say do a brain dump, you know, get a legal pad out and write down, you know, 50 ideas, 50 questions that you've been asked or 50 questions that you had ideas or questions about. And then from those 50 ideas, you can take your top 25 and then start creating content around it. So for me, it was anything I Googled when I was doing Brazil butt lift or P90X, anything, you know, I literally like did not know why you couldn't buy a Shakeology at GNC. You know, so I did a post about that, just anything I had questions on. And then having that working list, you would think it would be overwhelming, but for me, it actually gave me even more ideas of more content. So that way you at least have something to go on. Some posts took me longer to write than others. So, you know, they were saved as drafts. But I think the key is just to get your mojo going with it. So like staying consistent, whether or not you're publishing everything at once is a different story. But at least if you're writing, then you'll kind of flex that muscle and get better and better at it. But I would start out slow, I guess, like publishing once a week and then build up.
Okay.
I'm excited because, guys, like a blog, I'm telling you that I would probably not even have a third of the coaches that I have if it were not for that blog. You know, it's just a way to get your voice out there without having to spend, you know, not that you don't want to spend individual time with everyone, but there's only so much of you to go around and still be able to be with your family and still be able to have a life and do the things that you want. So a blog is a way to kind of spread yourself out and share as much information as possible without, you know, making yourself crazy. All right, ladies, it's about 10:30, so I'm gonna sign off.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks for getting on, guys.
And thanks
I'll
for
put
the
the
picture too.
You're so welcome.